You're a part of the resistance.
Welcome back to the Resistance broadcast. It is a special little mini-sode here because we just watched the full trailer for Solo, A Star Wars Story about 5 minutes ago. We each tried to watch it as many times as possible, and now we're going to talk about it. So we are here to join you in the excitement for this trailer. So what we're going to do here is first go around one time each, talk about our favorite single moment from the trailer, and then we're just going to open it up for about 10 or 15 minutes or so and break it down, lush over it, everything. So let's start with Lacey, who is pretty staunch about her favorite moment, I believe. What was your favorite moment from this trailer, Lacey?
My favorite moment, which there were a lot, but my favorite moment was hands down when Han's in the cockpit and he goes, "I have a very good feeling about this."
Yep.
I was like, yes, there it is. There's the line. That was my favorite part.
Nice. And James, how about you?
Oh, man, I don't know. I think, honestly, it might just be a ton of overall shots of the Corellian shipyards. I think that's something that I've heard in the Star Wars universe for so long that it's always been there. It's always been referenced. To actually, like, see it, it just really pumps me up for going to see the movie because, I don't know, something about, yes, that's it. That's where I want to go there, you know? I want to go to there, as Tina Fey would say.
I want to go to there. There it is. There
It's
it
so
is.
perfect, Liz Lemon.
Bill, what took your heart in that 2 minute and 11-second trailer?
Well, I'm gonna agree with Lacey, but besides that, I don't know what it is about it, but like Beckett handing Han and throwing him his blaster, I was
Called
like,
it.
oh yeah, I like that. I want that. More of that, please. More of that. So I mean, I am just completely blown away by the trailer, but I'm interested to hear more of what your favorite moment was, John.
That actually just made me think of Han giving Rey a blaster.
Yep.
Kind of like
There you go.
handing the baton thing. But my favorite moment was Chewie standing in the back of the cockpit and Han going, "You've flown before?" And then he's like, dude, in Wookiee, he's like, dude, I'm 190 years old. And he's like, you're 190 years old? You look great. That made me laugh out loud.
I am digging it.
Laugh out loud.
It kind of had that joke for me about, like, you know, the people that come over from different countries and they used to be doctors. Like, he's like, really?
Yeah.
What?
You were not.
I'm just picturing Chewie, like, in his head saying, dude, I'm 190.
Yeah.
I could be your dad like 30 times.
Exactly.
Yeah. Watch it, boy. This thing was loaded. Like, it had drama, intensity, fun, adventure, hilarious moments. Like, everything for me. Like, I thought it was a great trailer.
I did too, you know, and even like the music itself. I know we talked about the music in the last trailer, but man, like it just started off and I think it really set off like the vibe and the tone of like the trailer and the movie that we're going to get, because like it just I was just in from moment one.
Yeah, there's definitely some music in there that's like a new version of familiar Star Wars music, which when we did the Rogue One versus Last Jedi thing, I support that big time. I still can't get into that that Han Solo like disco song that is in this though. I didn't like it in the first one. I thought it just is weird to me.
It may just be trailer music though.
Yeah.
No,
It's true.
Yeah, I hear you, and I like the other one, like I said, and I like the overall music in general, but something about that bam 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 bam
Dude,
bam.
as long as it's not
what is this?
as long as it's not I'm Han Solo from the Star Wars Connect game, I'm gonna be okay. Like that's the only thing. Like that, if they put that in, like I'll just walk out. Like it's
You don't
done.
think
It's
the credits
over.
are going to play with Raiden Solo?
No. Oh
By
God.
Jason
oh,
Derulo?
God. Please no.
Guys, so let me ask you this: do you guys think they added Chewie into these shots? Because some of these shots look like the same shots we got from the first teaser, but now Chewie. I saw like 2 or 3.
Which
that
specifically?
Added them in? What do you mean by added them in?
Well,
Like
there's like the
CGI
shot.
Chewie?
Yeah, all right, so he's like Han's turning and he's looking up at the pilot seat of the Millennium Falcon, It's like now that is the same shot except for Chewie standing there. Or there's another one where like Kira and Han are like walking and they're like empty in the whole desert in the teaser, but in this one Chewie's behind them like holding boxes.
Well, they can do
like,
that anyway, can't they? Because like I remember when Civil War was about to come out, like
no. I'm just asking if you guys thought they did that. I don't care that they did that. That's fine.
Yeah,
Look, if you want to add 30 Chewies, I don't care. But
I would love 30 Chewies.
My guess is Han. This is their first time they're seeing the Falcon. Han goes around one way, Chewie goes around the other, and they meet by the cockpit or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's why in the first one we see Han roll up on it, and then I think Chewie just kind of rolls in after.
Could be. I'll have to compare them. I mean, guys, like listeners, we are hot off of just watching this. So
I've
it's
watched
like
it 5 minutes ago.
3 times maybe.
I screamed out loud. I was screaming in my house.
I did catch something though, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think the mean guy who L3 is like shoving against the wall, that looked like Clint Howard to me, even though like his face is covered like that kind of like
they call him the angry man,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's quick. It's quick, but I see what Bill's saying.
Yeah.
Like if you guys want to go check that out and pay closer attention, hit us up on
pause
Twitter
that moment.
and let us know if you think it is or isn't. But like I see it, Bill. I see what you're saying, and that feels right. It feels like it's just big enough of a role to be like, there it was. There was the Clint Howard thing. He's up front and he's being a jerk, and then he gets shut down. I get it. Yeah.
Right.
I think the other thing that stood out to me, there was 2 things. The shot of Han unbuckling his blaster in the desert that had a very Indiana Jones vibe to me. And then it doesn't really bother me, but it definitely sticks out to me because I am a huge Hunger Games fan, is that Woody Harrelson basically gives the same line that he had in Catching Fire, which is like, know who your enemies are. He's like, oh, know who to trust. I was like, that's the same line, just said differently.
And he has the same colored hair. I mean, I'm not pointing this out. I'm just,
So I couldn't help but be like, Katniss? Where's Katniss?
He says, assume everyone will betray you. And I was thinking,
you won't be disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah. Is this supposed to be, is this Lucasfilm talking to the audience and, saying, we're just trying to keep everybody on their feet. Don't trust anybody in this movie. It could be Kira, it could be Woody Harrelson, Beckett, it could be Paul Bettany, you know what I mean? Which, by the way, let's move into that. Now we're getting scenes with Paul Bettany in the movie.
Dryden Voss.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
He looks really cool. Like, I was not expecting that at all. Like, I knew that, like, he was going to be some kind of gangster dude, but, like, he looks, like, genuinely menacing.
He's like a red Bane because he's got like liquid vein things that power him up or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it looks like that weapon he was using may have been inflicted on his own face because he had this stringy red lasery little weapon.
It looked
thing
like from The Last Jedi, the Praetorian Guards.
Yes, it looked kind of like that. Like maybe he kind of like either he's a maniac or maybe he likes to hurt himself. Maybe that's how he gets off.
So here's the question. They show his face and they say, I heard about a job from a big shot gangster. Do you guys think that too is also misleading? Do you think they're trying to? You think he's the guy they're talking about? All right, I didn't know
James,
if it's like ultimately.
I know they like to do misdirection in these trailers, but I'm kind of going what you brought up a couple weeks ago about how we can't expect twists to be everything. Yeah,
looking back at The Last Jedi when everyone was like, "There's no way Kyle is offering his hand," and then it literally that's exactly what the scene was.
Yeah, true.
Just in a different shot, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but like I think that like Beckett may at some point. This is wild speculation, and if I'm wrong, who cares? But I think that Beckett may turn out to be the main villain of this.
I think he's going to turn on Han.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Kira's going to turn on Han before.
I think Chewie's going to turn on Han. No, I'm just kidding.
In a similar
but I
way
mean that's
to,
the question. We're all speculating that someone at some point is going to be the person that betrays them, right?
Well,
Han is too optimistic. He needs to be beat down a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you almost, because I agree with Bill here in a sense, because can you almost picture at the end of the movie Beckett bringing that line back saying like, see, I told you not to trust anybody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That come full circle with it. Yeah.
And that makes Han not trust people except Chewie.
Yeah. And by the like, I really like their like like budding relationship in this. Like you can tell that like
Oh,
they
man, yeah.
they obviously like they're friends, but like there's still a little bit of like animosity there for whatever reason. He's like, well, what do you know? You know, when,
the over the shoulder,
yeah,
he's behind him. He's like, well, what do you think? And he doesn't give him the answer he wants, and he's like, well, what do you know?
Yeah.
Can we talk about how
love that.
awesome Donald Glover looks? He wins
Yeah.
best
And
costume.
sounds.
And
he has
sounds.
that fur
We got his
coat.
voice.
Absolutely.
Everything
Yeah.
you've heard about me is true.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Love
God.
it. Disappointed though.
Yeah.
Kira's hair is so bleh. I want some cool space hair.
Okay, if we're talking about a Solo trailer and you were telling me like a year ago that we would be complaining about the girl's hair, I'm like,
If that's
I'm
my
okay with
one
that.
complaint, we're doing okay.
Yeah,
I just want
we're
some
good.
buns or something. Give me something.
So our kind of theory about the time jumping that they hadn't seen each other in a while was pretty much confirmed
Yeah.
there when she says, "Oh, you look good," you know.
and the
rough
bangs
around
thing
the
rang
edges,
true.
but-
The bangs.
Yep.
Yeah. The
She goes from
yeah,
bangs to
rang-
no bangs.
Right. So that the whole bangs trope works. So what we're
We got
We should
the.
do it.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say we should do like when we go to our first convention, we all just cut bangs in our.
Oh no, bangs are
Listen.
terrible. They take forever to grow out. It's never a good idea.
I can rock some bangs. You know, I showed you guys Bill Sheehy circa 2008, so it's all good. They come down.
We got the outside of the lodge, which definitely has like a very cool like I don't know, like Nordic type, you know, with the big horns and stuff like that. We got it in the Denny's commercial and it was cool then, but like to see the outside and to see a little bit more of the inside, it definitely feels like a nice resort kind of, but like in a kind of scummy
Now, are you
kind of
talking
way.
about like the big like with the big
Yeah.
tusks? Because that kind of like made me feel like the elephant graveyard from
Sure.
Lion King meets like snowy background. But like I 100% agree with what you're saying.
Can we talk about how that
I'm-
train flips?
Yeah,
Because
that's
all
cool.
I thought
That's
about in my
pretty cool.
head was
So the
that's
range
going to be an
troopers
awesome Star Tours.
The range
Yeah.
troopers actually have magnetic boots that hold
that's
them
so
on
cool.
just in case they, because maybe they get boarded fairly often. So they already know, like, well, we're probably going to end up having to get on top of this thing. So
The
they're
way
prepped
it
for
flips
it.
is so cool. So cool.
Speaking of flips, how about Chewie choke slamming or whatever, choke slam that guy into the ground?
Yeah, good God.
I think this is going to be the Chewie movie.
Yeah.
Like we're going to see some serious business coming from Chewie in this
And
movie.
you know, like, and going back a little bit to like their relationship and stuff, like that moment at the end where like you hear Han scream Chewie, you're like,
Yes.
oh, that's the Han and
He
Chewie
yells Han
relationship
too.
I
It
know.
sounds like he yells
Yeah.
Han.
Yeah, exactly.
Chewie?
Yeah, at the end. If you
Oh,
play it back, it sounds like
Can
he's
you
saying
imagine
Han.
the only thing that Chewie's ever said in Basic is Han?
It sounds
Which
like
that-
it. Go back and listen. It definitely
So
does.
he's like Hodor,
Yeah.
but he's a Wookiee.
Yeah,
What's the thing where in Legends where they said it was just a speech impediment? That was the reason that Wookiees couldn't talk.
I don't know, I'm glad that's in Legends.
It's what George would have wanted.
Yeah. So Beckett asks Kira, "Do you have a tip on a ship?" And she says, "I know a guy." So she's the one who knows Lando.
Yep.
I wonder why.
That's interesting to me. Yeah.
Hey.
And she said he's the best smuggler or something like
Yeah.
that. He's the best smuggler I know.
Best was it around or
Around, one
something like
of
that.
those
Yeah,
deals.
yeah.
And the L337 seems like a pretty cool droid
Yeah,
character.
like it
Phoebe
feels,
Waller-Bridge.
It feel. I don't want to say like because like the obvious comparison is K2 just because like it's a similar kind of droid, but like I think like she's gonna be like a more snarky if that's possible like underworld kind of version of that, and that's that like I love K2, but just for what I've seen so far with her, there's definitely a fight between my favorite big droids like that.
So let me ask you a question about L3. I got the impression, I don't know if it was like from a toy release or toy leak or something like that, but like I assumed that was Kira's droid and that the droid and Lando clearly have a connection. But watching this trailer, I feel like it's Lando's droid.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Like
it's
he
Lando.
he comes into the movie as Lando's like best friend or something. And Kira, I think maybe it's just because there's one shot in that teaser, that has her like walking off the ship and L3's there. That maybe like we got some sort of like, oh, that's her droid or her. I don't know, but
because even in the ship at the end where Lando's like, put on, buckle up type thing, L3's sitting next to him.
Yeah. Yeah, you better buckle up, baby.
I love it.
Do you think Han's gonna get blown back?
Yeah.
Do you think
After
Donald
that scene,
Glover's
like,
going to
he's
release
like,
a
I don't need
track
to
for this
buckle
movie?
in, and
Because
then-
I want a Childish Gambino solo track.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know anyone who would be against that.
Well, no. So, and this is a little bit off topic, but on his last album, there were lyrics that said "Solo, you're making me wait for Solo," and like,
Oh, really?
yeah, like
How long ago was that?
like a year ago, like.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it wasn't like in the context of the song, like it's not that, but like you hear it and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
God, I love him. His fur jacket is like...
Speaking of fur,
Bringing
we
me
got
life.
a Wookiee hug. We got that Wookiee embrace very quickly.
The
You think
forehead
that's
touch,
Mala?
that's the PG, like, we love each other.
Was that
Life
yeah?
Day
Was that by?
confirmed?
Was that next to the Falcon? Was that kind of like, all right, I'm gonna go become Chewie that everybody knows
And never
now.
see
I
you
gotta
again.
go."
Forehead touch.
Yeah. Yeah. But we didn't get any, like, what's the Kessel Run? Is it the tentacle thing where
It
they're
may
flying
be,
around?
yeah.
Like,
Oh my
He-
God,
he
that would be
already-
crazy.
By the way, going back to that really quick, he already is the Chewbacca, the mighty Chewbacca, because he already fought in the Clone Wars and everything.
That's
At
true.
this point,
Yeah.
yeah, right. But maybe like
Which
his
is
domestic side.
which is
they
so
don't know
weird
that part
to
of him.
like connect that Chewie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm watching
that's
this
tough.
Chewie and I see it. I'm like, that's
And then you know he
original
ends up
trilogy
roasting
Chewie.
porgs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That not eating them, just something else came along and ate that pork, but it wasn't Chewy.
What did you guys find like any like you mentioned the Clint Howard thing? Do you guys see any other like weird Easter eggs or little like things that you're like, I wonder about this? One to me is I saw what looked like Beckett turns around as like an AT-ST is landing, but to me I was thinking that in Rebels they're using AT-DPs and they didn't use the STs until later. And I'm like, so I don't know exactly what this is. I mean, maybe it's like on Corellia and they're like, it's an early model. We're not really like, because
Yeah.
it maybe looks like it's not quite like fully functional or something. But I mean, man, that's a pretty stretch to be like, well, we're in development for 10 years and you move, that's all the better you got to go from a DP
Dude,
to an ST.
That's usually your department, man. Like,
Yeah.
I never catch Easter eggs in trailers. I'm so like,
There's a shot at the beginning where they're building a Imperial ship up in the sky.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
Yeah,
the Corellian
yep.
shipyards. That's where like
Yep.
they're building the what's he say? He goes, I'm not talking about the small whatever freighter ships. I'm talking about the big ones, the Corellian
The
ones.
big Corellian
big
ships
Corellian
now.
ships. Yeah. So he's talking about where this is. I assume you're going to get to see those ships. That I mean, not that we haven't seen them before, but I think
he
that's
goes, I'm
the
not talking about the
idea.
bulk cruisers. I'm talking about the big Corellian ships.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
that was the line.
This might sound stupid, but in The Force Awakens, when they're talking about Han Solo's ship and how BB-8 got away on a white Model T freighter, I remember thinking at the time, being like, "Is it really white? It's more like a gray." And then you see the inside, and you're like,
This is
"Ah,
white.
yes,
This
it is white."
This is white.
It's so
yeah,
cool
that's
to see it all
the
clean.
big surprise. Yeah, that's the big surprise. I want to see how that thing gets just absolutely grossified. Like the Craigslist Millennium Falcon. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
Ugh. That was an image I didn't need, but okay, thank you.
Because Han walks into the cockpit and he looks around like, this is too clean. Almost like...
Well, I mean, like, if you guys, are you wrapped up? I mean, is this everything that we can say about this
Yeah.
trailer
Yeah.
itself?
Oh, I can't
What-
wait for this
what-
movie to come out.
I'm sure
I guess
we'll
the
have
only
more.
thing
Me
is
too.
what's next. What do we get next?
Right, so we're going to get pummeled with TV spots and that sort of thing. Probably more like dumb commercials
honestly,
tied
like,
to Nissan. And
I'm good at this point. Like, I have full confidence in this. I don't need
Yeah.
to see anything else. I'm good. Like,
I
and
think we'll get tickets on May 4th.
yeah, that makes sense. That'd be really cool too.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about this next Monday, a little more in-depth on the show when we have a chance to watch it a billion more times, and James points out all the Easter eggs that I'll never find.
And the lore and the Qui-Gons.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, and all the Qui-Gons. But let us know what you guys think in the comments. Point out things to us that we didn't bring up, things that you love. Tell us what your favorite parts were, and we'll talk to you guys soon right here on the Resistance Broadcast.